Today I'm going to share what we are using for our family subjects for the year 2023-2024. So stick around so I can show you what we have. So hey, my name is Adrian. I'm a homeschool mom of 3, soon to be 4, and I have been homeschooling for 4 years now. And I'm going to share what we're using for our homeschool subjects. I have a 3rd grader, a 2nd grader, and a 3-year-old this year. So I have a bunch of things set out before me, and I am going to just start going through the stacks. But before I do, just like I said, we're about to be a family that has 4 babies instead of just 3. I am due in October. So I have delayed putting this video out because what I thought I wanted to do, I am realizing that I need to reevaluate because very soon we will have a newborn, and I know that that will throw things off. I am a very, what you would call a type A person. I like checklists. I like to have a plan, know what we're doing, print everything off, and this is what we're doing. But I'm also a person that likes to be able to do whatever I want and not follow a specific curriculum. And I'm realizing that I need to do a lot of letting go this year. So my goal was to have the feast spread out, have a general idea of resources that we could use, but use them in a more flexible way than we have in the past because we have a newborn coming in October. So we started school in August. We have gotten 1 full month in. We're gonna get another full month and then a partial month before baby comes. And then we are going to probably take a large break and then slowly start back up. So that's my little caveat here of these things will not be used strictly on any kind of routine or loop or block schedule or anything like that. It will simply be what we can get to, and this is what we're using. So, okay, enough introduction. Last year we used mostly Under the Home subjects, so I will start with what I have laid out for us from Under the Home this year. We have set aside several things. We didn't finish a lot of things last year, but I am laying them aside and we will come back to them when we are ready. So here's what I have from Under the Home. The first thing is the studio art. Last year I chose to do the 1st grade studio art because we'd never done art before. So I started younger than where we needed to be, and we only made it like a few lessons in, but we have loved when we did get to do it. So I'm hoping that we can do a few lessons out of here, just sporadically here and there. This book is very great. It goes over just the basics of things like this is a line, this is a grid, here's some dots, and it gives you just a few simple directions like line orientation. And it talks about horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and then it gives you an example of a painting where you can see the lines, and then it says create something with lines, whether that's with paint, markers, pastels, paper, cut something, glue something, whatever, put some lines in it. And so it just gives you a very basic concept of art and tells you to go create, which is great. We've never gone over any of this, and we're not a very artsy family. And then it goes on to things like grids, which my kids also really loved. I think they liked the simplicity and the freedom of this. And then, I mean, it just gets further in where you can see hearts, and it gives you an example, triangles. But we are going to be trying to do some of this. Like I said, how often or when, I don't know, but we have this to go through. Next, I printed off the kindergarten prose. So this is like a novel study, I suppose. But I did the kindergarten one just because they had some books on here that I really wanted to get through. And as I was flipping through or looking through their website, I really liked some of the questions and activities and resources that this provided for free. And the books that you read are My Father's Dragon, which has been on my list to read for a while now. The Great Big Treasury of Beatrix Potter. We have read some Beatrix Potter, but I liked that Again, it just gives you like some discussion questions, vocabulary. It gives you pictures of things from the story. So I think this one is actually from Peter Rabbit. Look at me go. So it's got some of the food that it's talking about. So you could just draw a picture about this. You could notebook about it. It's got review questions. I really like what this has to offer. It's very simple, and you can pick and choose what you want from it. You don't have to do it all. But it also has Raggedy Ann stories, Raggedy Andy stories, which I have never read, and I may have to go out Thrift Books and purchase it so that we can read this. Under the Home does have this available to read online for free. So you don't have to print any of this. You could just go on Under the Home. They have the reading there. Some of these have audio versions to go with it, so you could just hit play and it will read it, and then you can just flip over on their website and find this guide. But I love to have something to hold. I really struggle with just understanding all the teacher's manuals unless I print them out. So that's what I did. They have the Velveteen Rabbit, which we have read, and it is so sweet. But again, I just like some of the activities in here. And then Uncle Wiggily's Adventures, which I don't know that I've even heard of. So again, I don't know if we'll read all of these this year. We may pick and choose. We may get to one. We may get to none of these. I'm not sure. But I really think that this is interesting. These are some stories that I want to read and that I think my children would really love. And I think that with it being a baby year, that doing read alouds is something that we can do. I can hold the baby while the baby sleeps and read a book and have them notebook about it, or just ask them questions about it, or have them give me a narration. So again, I'm going for simple. Again, I don't know if I mentioned, but Under the Home is free. If you have not been around here for a while, Under the Home can be a complete curriculum: math, phonics, history, science, art, prose, all sorts of things that they have available on their website for free. But we are just picking and choosing what we're using this year. So studio art, kindergarten prose. I printed out 3rd grade Shakespeare. I know for a fact we are not going to start this until after the baby gets here and we get back into the swing of school. But this really intrigues me. I want to learn Shakespeare this way. I love the spin-offs, the movies and things that are based on Shakespeare plays, but the only experience I have with Shakespeare is like a high school honors English class, and it was not a great experience. But I want to relearn it this way. Simply, wholesome. I want to learn the stories with my kids, and then eventually be able to read and understand the plays and watch them and all of that good stuff. So I printed out the teacher's guide for it. This uses, what is the book called? I think it's Beautiful Stories from Shakespeare. I think it's by Nesbitt. I think Ambleside might recommend it as well. So if we get to this, I will probably purchase a physical copy of it off of Thrift Books or something. But again, they do have all the readings for free on Under the Home's website, so I could just pull it up on the computer, my phone, iPad, whatever, and read it, or hit play and it'll have like audio. But I like to have the physical copy, so we will get to this, but probably not till the second half of the year. And then to go with that, they have all of these printables, and I just printed off the first one for A Midsummer Night's Dream is the first one you go over. So they have all of these things to set up your own play. And so they have theater pages. And so you can set up your own stage, you can color these. They have labels for all the characters here. And then they have pictures. So to help you understand the story, you can cut these out. You could put them on popsicle sticks. You could, act it out. You could put it up on maybe like some kind of felt board or like a cork board or something like that. I feel like there's so many ways that you could use this, and this would be a really good way to help you understand the story and visualize it as you're reading it. So I just printed off the first one, and when we get to it, then I will cut it out and figure out exactly how we're using these. But again, I wanted to just have it laid out, ready for us when we are ready for it. But again, no specific plans for a start date. The last thing that we're using from Under the Home for this year is their science. So I believe this is the second grade. Yeah, this is the second grade science. I just went on Canva and made a pretty cover because I felt like it last year, and then I accidentally printed it the wrong way, so I had to bind the teacher's manual on the top. Again, this is for free. You could totally not print it out, but I liked it. So we only got about halfway through this, but we really enjoyed doing science this way. You have a story that you are listening to, and they have all the audio linked. It's LibriVox recordings, and so we learned about different bugs and birds and things last year. And I think coming up, what we will hit next is learning about some different animals. And so you listen to a beautiful story from a living book, and then you go in and you learn a little bit about the animal. They have vocabulary, they have discussion questions, they have student notebooking pages, and then they also have like a nature study page for each lesson as well. So an example here was we learned about birds, and so we labeled the bird, colored it. This is my last year he was a first grader, but he did this with us. And then it also has a field guide for the back, and it has questions to ask, like to classify the bird, when you did the nature walk, the animal's name, what they looked like, where they lived, draw a sketch. But I loved that it was already laid out for you. We learned about like migration, and it had the map here, and we colored it and where the migration was. And so this was really fun. I like that it could be simple. You can listen to the story, you can you can do the notebooking page and the review questions and call it a day. Or you could find some more books on that bird or bug or whatever it is. If you are really wanting to dive deep into it, you can look up YouTube videos. So a lot of the times each lesson took us about 2 weeks because we just wanted to add in all the extras and learn so much about it. So we're just gonna continue on with this, trying to let go of the I need to finish it in a year. We learned so much, and we're gonna continue to learn, and that's all that matters. So that is all from Under the Home that we are using for our family subjects this year. To stick with science, I also have Exploring Nature with Children. I printed this out in 4 separate little books, one for each season, so that it was smaller and easier to flip through. But we are going to use this lightly. You can use this as your full science curriculum. It's beautiful. It has so many book suggestions, poetry selections. I think it even has pictures that you can look. It's got extension activities. Yeah, it has art in here. And it's very simple. It's, you know, pick and choose what you want to get to. And we are just going to use this as a guide that if we are not in a big rabbit trail in our other science curriculum, that we will pick a topic for a picture book to read about and do some nature study, and then they have a nature notebook to go with that. So that's what we have for science. And then so that covers science, nature study, which is also science, some literature and art. Now moving on, we have some more enrichment, and then I will talk to you a little bit about what we're going to use for history. So last year for our enrichment, we did use Under the Home, and it is beautiful. It's wonderful. I loved it. And I had honestly planned on continuing it this year for our composer study and our artist study. It's free. You could download it. You could do it online. It was wonderful. We all thoroughly enjoyed it, and we didn't get to finish it. Plan was to continue and just finish what we didn't from last year and maybe move into the next year's, but with this being a baby year and also adding in preschool this year, we did a little bit of preschool last year, but we are full-blown jumping into preschool this year. I wanted to simplify it. So preschool, we are using Gentle and Classical Preschool, and it has an art and music pack, and so we will study art one week and music the next week, and that is what I have chosen to use. So that's what I've chosen to use for the whole family. We have spent a couple weeks doing this now, and they all love it. It's simple, it's doable, and this is what we're gonna do. If I feel like we need to add more, then I will just pull out the manuals that we didn't finish from Under the Home. So for music study, you go through Peter and the Wolf with Gentle and Classical. So it has the picture book, you listen to the music, you listen to one section every other week, and then there is also like a storyboard that I printed and laminated with all the characters so that you can kind of play out the story. All of my kids really loved this. Again, I didn't grow up learning any of this. I'm not musical, I'm not artistic, and so it's just fun and simple for us to do this. It's really heartwarming, and we all really enjoyed it. So simple, I think, is okay this year, and that's what we're using. So for music, Peter and the Wolf, and then for art, you study Van Gogh. And so we have this book here that we will read through a couple of times. It's just a picture autobiography of Van Gogh, and even my 8-year-old really enjoys this. He is all about learning about the artist through these picture biographies. He really likes it. And then my daughter loves to find the fine details in the picture. My 7-year-old is not as artistic, but he does enjoy listening to the stories too. So you read this, and then you have all the pictures that you print out with Gentle and Classical, and you just talk about what's in the picture, and you do a little artist study, and they really like it. So I also found this Vincent van Gogh book at a library, I want to say. This is written and illustrated by a class of like 3rd graders, and so it's really cute. They recreated some of the art from Van Gogh and other artists, and they wrote a little story to go with it. So I thought that was fun to pair with this. And then you also learn about Leonardo da Vinci, and so we have this autobiography that we were reading through. My oldest was fascinated by this, and my 7-year-old got into this because he does talk about the flying machine, and my 7-year-old is much more mechanically minded, so he really liked this. So when I went to Costco, I found this big honking thing that I could not resist. It is a huge book, The Complete Paintings and Drawings of Leonardo. This book is $31.99 at Costco. I don't ever spend this much on books. If you have been around here for a while, I am a thrifter. I like to find things for free or, pennies on the dollar. So this is probably the most expensive book I have ever purchased, but my kids love it. It is just full of all of his illustrations, his notebook pages, his art. This is a great coffee table book to just be able to flip through. It also has some writing and stuff in here if you want to read more about it, but my kids are having fun just looking at the stunning pictures. They also had Van Gogh and Monet and a couple of other ones. I probably would have preferred to get like Monet or Van Gogh if it was my choice, but both of my boys really enjoyed this, and so this is the one I grabbed so that they would have something to pour over and just have some beauty in front of their eyes this year. They could do a little bit of their own artist study. Okay, I feel like this video is getting long. We are almost done. The next thing I am going to talk about is what we are doing for history, and I'm only going to briefly talk about it because I will do a much more in-depth video on this because we are using the Well-Educated Heart. I can't say this is a curriculum because it's not, but it is just a way of learning and living. It is just learning from heart educators, from living books, from people in the past, and really just focusing on the heart of education more so than the mind of education. And it has a whole community. There is a Facebook group, there is a free introductory course that you can go through that is so heartwarming, and it is so just enriching for you as the mom. And it thoroughly goes through what their vision is, and it has a free website called Libraries of Hope, and it has all of their resources that you can read online for free, which is amazing. They have books that were written before the 1920s that they use and have compiled into a rotation. And so this rotation is 12 months long, and each month has a different US history topic, world history topic, and science topic, as well as something for you as the mother to be studying. It's a Mother's University topic, so it could be something like mother culture, it could be math that you're learning about, or whatever it is. There's a different topic for you to go into and resources for you to read for free. Videos, podcasts, they have free audio recordings for some of the books, and then they also have some that you can also purchase the books, all of them, in physical copy. So it is a wealth of information. They are just creating new things every day, and that is what we're using for history. So for history, we are going to attempt to go through the My America Storybook, which they have a free audio of, and notebook through it. So I got each of my kids these, this one's mine, these School Nest notebooks. So I got my preschooler one because I wanted her to feel included. She is wanting to be a big girl. She wants to do school. She begs to do school. And so I got her one, and then my third grader and my second grader, this is actually up here. So they each have their own notebook, and we're going to attempt to notebook through some of these stories. And then for the world history, it's more like geography, I guess you would say. We're going to pick a country to study each month, and we will just learn about their people and their culture and their food, and read some nursery tales and picture books and literature from there. The one example I have is my Book of Delights. This is an example of something that is offered from Well Educated Heart. This is book 1. We are going to be studying India, and so let me see if I can't. This goes through, there's several different countries you can study each month, and you can study all of them or you can study one of them, whatever it is that works for your family. But my Book of Delights is just full of, well, I can't find what I'm looking for. It's full of just beautiful art from those countries. It's full of poems. I mean, just beauty, just beautiful. My Book of Delights is the perfect title. It's just a delight to flip through these. And this is one that I really felt like did not do justice having it online. I wanted the physical copy to be able to flip through and just enjoy. So we will be doing that for world history and US history. And then to go along with that, I bought us a history timeline notebook from School Nest. I bought one just for the family, and if we all really enjoy this, or this goes smoothly or whatever this year, then maybe I will purchase my older kids one of their own for next year. We're just gonna see how it goes. They might not be ready for that or old enough for that, but it just simply goes through, you know, so here's ancient times, and it has all the years, and we can jot down, you know, people that we learn about, when they were born, events that happened. We can paste pictures in here or what have you. But I think that's all. Something I didn't mention here was our Bible curriculum, or our Bible resources. We don't have really a curriculum. I have a whole video on that. I will leave that linked below. And I will also be talking about individual subjects for my third grader and my second grader and my preschooler coming up next. So I hope that you enjoyed this. This is just the feast that we are spreading with no timeline, no expected finish date, and just preparing the feast, even if we are bringing in a new little bundle of joy this year that might throw us all off. So this is what I have for us. I would love to hear what you guys are using. If you are using any free resources, I am all for it. I would love to hear about it down below. I'm always trying to share free things, ways that you can homeschool affordably without having to go out of budget or feel like it's not attainable to homeschool. So thank you for watching. If you liked this, stick around, subscribe. I'd love to have you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.